Welcome back, Boise Entrepreneur Week. TM Rostiger here, your host on our last day, going strong. I have with me a very special guest, Nick Taylor from Stoel Rives. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. You saved the best for last.
As always. I know you're fresh off the Innovation Awards. Yep. Congratulations on those. Yep. Trellid is a proud partner. And I also have heard that one of our alumni, National Intelligence System, they won Most Innovative Company in Idaho.
It was an exciting night. We hoped to do it in person, but we did a virtual event again. And our firm, Stoel Rives, is a proud supporter of Boise Entrepreneur Week and the Idaho Innovation Awards, which you guys always line them up to be the same week, so it's a busy week for us. But it was an exciting night. I only see so much as a corporate partner, the companies I work with, the people that I talk to. So that when you do those awards and the selection process leading up to the awards and then the awards nights and then the winners, you're just amazed at how much is going on, not only in Boise, but Treasure Valley, and we had nominees from Coeur d'Alene and Eastern Idaho. So
that's what I usually appreciate the most about the Innovation Awards is, I remember a couple of years ago, there was some cool company out of Northern Idaho that was printing LEDs on a flexible substrate. That was pretty cool. Would have never known about them if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. I mean, we missed the 900 people in the room and sort of getting jazzed up about Innovation Idaho. But you always leave that event saying, there's some people doing some really cool stuff. And I'm excited about the future every time I do that award and every time I come to Boise Entrepreneur Week.
So as a partner at Stoel Rives, tell me about the kind of work that you get to do.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I went to law school and I was like, I don't like to fight, so I don't want to be a litigator. And I like to figure out problems, so I should be like a startup lawyer, a corporate lawyer, and then end up playing with other people's money, right? Or other people's dreams. And so it's interesting because it doesn't get boring because, one day it can be a piece of software. The next time it's a consumer product. The next time it's a bar or theme park. So it's exciting to see different types of businesses. As a partner at Stoel Rives, in the corporate practice group, I work with them from you come into me and say, I have an idea, I don't know what to do with it, all the way to we've been working on this company for 10 years. We want to sell it. Here's list of potential buyers. Can you help us? So I get to do everything from that to the end.
It's pretty wide spectrum.
It's exciting. It's always keeps me on my feet. And I like to walk around and say, oh, I helped them, stand up this, every time I go to the still, I'm like, I got to help those guys do this. And this ice cream is so damn good.
Did you get it for free?
No. No. But I always offered to take, my bill down a couple of notches if they'd give me some free ice cream. They haven't taken me up on that yet.
Right on. So I know you and Brian present the Innovation Awards every year. And the part that I frankly look forward to the most is your guys' gig on stage. It's hilarious. It kind of is the anti-conference to the conference. And on that note, I know you've prepared some lessons learned based on, in the spirit of Halloween.
I mean, would you agree there's plenty of serious lawyers in the world?
I probably would say too many.
So I can never figure out if I'm naturally funny or if everyone's just like, that's pretty good for a lawyer.
No,
somewhere
I
in
think
between.
You're naturally funny.
But no, when you said we could talk about whatever we wanted, I was like, well, I like talking about movies. And my favorite type of movie is scary movies. And it's Halloween, it's October. And so I was listening to this podcast about the making of Halloween, the 1978 John Carpenter classic about Michael Myers. One of my favorite Halloween movies of all time.
And who hasn't seen that one, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you must be from a foreign country if you've never seen that movie.
Yeah, who's from a foreign country, people? Come on now.
So TM has some homework after this to watch the original. Just the original, not the 10 movies they made after that. But I was thinking, okay, so how do I get away with talking about Halloween the movie, but in the lens of entrepreneurs and startups, and so that there's actual content for your viewers here.
So curious how you're going to spin that one.
So I was like, okay, some lessons from Halloween for entrepreneurs and startups. So for example, the whole premise of the movie is this Michael Myers guy stalks everyone and won't stop until he kills all these babysitters. So, one of the lessons for an entrepreneur is be persistent. Don't give up. Chase your idea, as much as possible. Don't stop till you attain your goals. whether that be to, monetize this idea and start a business and become successful, or murder some babysitters. So if you think about it, it makes sense.
Very much so.
And he murders the babysitters with a knife. It's like a long kitchen knife, like, you know what I mean? And very effectively. So if you think about it, it's about using the right tool for the right job. So, as a lawyer, one of the things that happens is people come to me and they say, hey, I found these contracts off the internet. Do you think they'll work? And that's like if Michael Myers said, hey, I'm going to murder babysitters with a spatula. And that doesn't make any sense.
Not at all. Who would do
Use
that?
a long kitchen knife. So if you're an entrepreneur, use the right contracts. Use the right type of lawyer. Use the right type of accountant. Formulate the right team, which also reminds me of another one I thought of, which is, and you haven't seen the movie, but long story short, Michael Myers has a therapist, Dr. Loomis. He's a key figure in the Halloween story. And this therapist is trying to convince Michael Myers, hey, don't be a murderous monster. And
sounds like something a therapist wants to do.
Right. So it doesn't go very well because obviously Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital despite Dr. Loomis's best efforts to rehabilitate Michael Myers. And I'm trying to get really hard not to give away the ending since you haven't even seen the movie. But let's just say Dr. Loomis doesn't do a very good job being a therapist to Michael Myers. And so, entrepreneurs need to think about hiring the right help, right? If you're a startup entrepreneur, what have you, formulate the right team of advisors. Find an accountant that works with you that understands what you're trying to accomplish, that has a good nose for what you're doing. And, same thing with a lawyer and a banker and a landlord, right? Like if you're a startup and you have a landlord that says, hey, we want you to sign a 20-year lease with a personal guarantee, that landlord is not understanding, right, where you're coming from as a startup, and it's not going to be a good relationship. And so
the therapist was the wrong guy for the job.
Exactly. Long story short,
Gotcha.
That's what I meant. Okay, so the movie is pretty simple. It's how are we doing on time?
We're doing pretty good. I think we got time for a couple more. I think you have
more?
a few more, yeah.
Okay. So the movie is basically Michael Myers chasing the babysitters. John Carpenter wrote the score. It's just basically 5 notes on the piano. And so he kept it real simple. And that's another thing I've seen over and over again with business ideas is people will come in and say, I have this great idea. So I want to monetize it. I want to start a nonprofit foundation. I want to do a Kickstarter campaign. And I want to raise capital in 3 different types of securities offerings. And it's just, analysis or paralysis by analysis, right? It's too many different things you're trying to accomplish at the same time. Effectively, it's not going to work. It's better to keep it simple, focus on our primary goals, triage our needs, and we'll sort this out. And it's the same thing with the movie. It's really successful because it's an hour and a half of a very simple premise, right? It's not like Inception or Tenet. It's just a simple, straightforward movie.
So as an entrepreneur, just keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah, exactly. This is not about the movie Halloween. This is about entrepreneurs.
I'll
right?
just do bring it back to the
Thanks.
entrepreneurship. I really like how you're focusing on the movie.
keep me focused. And then, okay, so I don't want to give away the ending again because you haven't seen the movie, but let's just say the bad guy sneaks away in the end, right?
Okay, let's just say that.
That's not a very satisfying ending, but if they had killed the bad guy in the end, they couldn't have made 10 sequels.
Oh, okay, so it could have been a bunch of money later.
So yeah, exactly, a bunch of money later. And so they had to plan for future growth. And so, you gonna steer it back? Go ahead and...
So as an entrepreneur, you really want to think about planning for future growth.
Planning for future growth, right. Exactly. One of my favorite conversations to have with entrepreneurs is, how to get organized and issue that initial round of equity in a way that plans for future growth. Because there's only 100% of the pie, and you have to sort of plan ahead for how that pie is going to be divvied up among the founders and investors and service providers, and how that might change over time. And so if you don't plan for that ahead of time, you can end up painting yourself into some pretty bad corners, like killing off your main star at the end of the movie, right?
Dumb thing to do.
Last but not least, Halloween, the real story of Halloween is protect and monetize your intellectual property, right? Like, it's a big brand, the mask, the knife, the 10 sequels, the video games,
Oh,
you know.
the royalties they missed out on.
Yeah, exactly. And John Carpenter actually failed to protect and monetize his IP after the initial movie. He sold his rights, and so he didn't make any money from the sequels. So, so many of the startups I work with are intellectual property focused, but even the ones that are not, one of the biggest assets they're going to have going forward is their intellectual property.
Matter of fact, investors, one of the first questions they ask is, what's your IP? How can you
Right.
protect, how are you going to build the moat around the thing?
Yeah, and we've been on a tear lately of selling companies in Boise or the Treasure Valley to outside private equity firms. And one of the biggest things I've seen is the difference in the price and the difference of the appetite of the buyers is whether that company has a patent portfolio. So a company with a great idea, market share, no patent portfolio versus a company with a patent portfolio, you're seeing a huge difference in the way they're treated from a potential sale perspective.
I'm amazed how you were able to distill that movie into lessons learned for entrepreneurs. But you heard it here at Boise Entrepreneur Week. So first thing to do, all of you entrepreneurs, watch Halloween.
They've already seen it. It's just you.
It's just me. Okay. Once you watch Halloween, go see Nick Taylor and figure out how to mitigate all of those. I think it was 7 that you just rattled off.
Yeah. Together, we're going to kill it.
Nick, thanks for being here. Appreciate your humor, buddy.
Good to see you.
This was much needed. I don't know about you, but this whole week has been pretty serious for me. On that note, y'all, coming up next is Idaho for Good, social entrepreneur and B Corp community, and you will see Kenton Lee in there, a volunteer at BEW. But before you do, a quick word from our sponsors.